LOL, white America, assassinate my character. Money matrimony, yeah, they tryna break the marriage up. Who gon' act on ya? Who gon' try to embarrass ya? I'ma need a day off, I think I call Ferris up. Bueller had a Mueller, but I switched it for a Miele, cause I'm richer.
Ooh, yeah, we got episode 13. We got a special fired up. As you can tell, I'm fired up with the Daily Dose podcast. I'm going to go and let the gentlemen introduce themselves. To my far right, this guy's 7'7", freaking jacked and stacked, entrepreneurial hustler. Go ahead and make your introduction, sir. I'll give you a little intro right myself.
How do I fucking beat that?
It's all right, man. You are you.
John Reed, Daily Dose Hospitality CEO and co-founder of Benjamin Blue Natural Spring Water.
My man.
Marco Martinez, CEO, barber by trade, hustler at heart, co-founder Benjamin Blue.
Barber by trade, hustler by heart. I like it.
Mike's.
So we got to do that again?
No.
Okay.
You sure?
Yeah.
Sit. One take, that's all you get. Heard.
Taj, go ahead, man. Let these guys know how we get down.
Man, standing at 6'1", some say 6 foot. On a good day, give me that extra inch, and a good night, give me an extra couple inches. Oh yeah, Taj Khan in the house.
If you're watching this and listening to this is nothing but hustle, grit, no soft shit. Work through everything. You got something in your life. You want to go after it. We're going to go after the dream. So I heard this man here is sober for 18 years.
12, actually.
Oh, 12 years. 12 years. I like to exaggerate. So we're not going to do a tequila shot for you out of respect. However, I do got that pink lemonade for you, Warrior.
But I'll take the tequila shot.
So Saj, if you can give that to... Let's give him the Rocky. We'll pop that one. And you're going to take the tequila?
Sure.
This is our amino acids post workout plus a hydration complex.
That's right. And then, Data 2, are you on the tequila today or are you rolling with the aminos?
I'll do both.
All right, he's going to do both.
Oh, I like that.
All right, since Taj is here, we're going to do the Siete. Where'd it go? Oh, it's right here. Sorry, dropping things. Boom. You said you will?
Of course.
Okay.
Fire it up.
Tis the season.
Fire it up.
Tis the season. Bro, we got to do better intros.
Oh, that was good.
Like these guys, like, ooh, yeah. We got to do that.
You got to own it.
Watch this.
You can't just play in that space.
Give
You're
me,
either all in.
give me 5 of these. Marco Federico is coming out.
Hey, give me that same thing you just did.
Shit. With the middle finger.
Tap that pink lemonade in
Ooh.
there.
Ooh.
I
That's
didn't
the
see
chaser.
that.
That's the chaser.
Fellas, want to say thank you for hopping this on. This is going to be a great podcast. It's great. You can make a mess. Big shout out to all of our sponsors, Legends, Sebastian Plumbing, Phoebe Warren with Compass Realty, Aaron, who am I missing? Diane Ginsburg, and Regal Pools. Also, the unofficial sponsor, the guys who are in the building, Benjamin
Go.
Blue.
Let's go.
Your money where your mouth is,
Thank you
baby.
guys for
Thank you,
coming
boys.
on.
I feel that
Invite.
nice and tall.
Salute.
Someone's going to watch that and be like, was that real? Good.
Lemon? Lemon?
No, thank you.
No, but it's a lime. It is a lime. So we were actually talking before. Ooh, yeah, that feels good, doesn't it? Yeah. We were talking before we got in here. They were actually asking our story. And I'm actually going to start it off because we never get to do this. We don't ever get to know our story, what we're doing. So they were asking about how we got here, the family, and big shout out to Patrick Fertitta. I was telling him about how we had those contacts and what we've created and being at the spa, at the post, like all of our followers know. So we ended off with COVID. And we're going to get into COVID for you guys, and then we're going to get your guys' story too. So COVID for us, man, was our biggest blessing because 1, no overhead. 2, I had him, and he was taking one side of the city. I was taking the other side of the city. And when you ask how long I've been here, COVID happened to me in basically 3 years because I was in 3 different places in the matter of 1 year. I was at one garage, moved over, went to another garage, then finally got to here. And every one of our clients came and followed us, and we went to them, and it's been nothing but hustle, no excuses, and opportunity for us. And as far as the Avengers of the family coming in, so he came 2017. Coach Life was crazy. He came here, adapted well with his wife, and has helped me tremendously. Without him, there's no business, there's no Congo, there's no LLC, there's no structure. I'm the go-getter. I'm the clientele. I'm the go find people and give the workouts. But as far as the structure that he's provided and him and his wife, there's no business without him.
Love that.
And then 2020, when we were coming up with the business, we were let down by Remember I said I like to exaggerate numbers? I'm gonna say 10 on the show. We were let down by a lot of investors. People said they were gonna be there for us. People said, we got you. Oh, you're gonna do great. We're gonna take care of you. Well, guess what? Fucking 0 emails, 0 texts back, 0 phone calls back. And because of him, he said, well, fuck it, man. I'm waiting on you. We're just gonna do it ourselves. So we were able to get a bank note based off of all the stuff we did during COVID. And once we got the bank note, they started the gym design, and we told our brother, Badsha, which has done stuff for you guys, our older sister Halima, because California, COVID, subprimal, all the bullshit, looking back at what COVID was now, California was horrible. So she had 0 chance to succeed there. And she was the head manager at Orange Theory. And then Cole, who grew up with Badsha since he was a kid, we brought all those 3 to Houston and promised them no money. We said, hey, we got a dream. We got a vision. We don't know how it's going to work, but you can come here and help us, and we're going to figure it out from there. And now they're coming up. 2026 is on the horizon. We're fucking here. We're building the next one, which I'll let this guy talk more about. And these guys were able to get paid. These guys were able to get raises, bonuses, health, all of it. Everything that I didn't get to have within those 4 years I was at the place that I was at. So that's how the Khan family has came from, well, I will say Pakistan first because of my grandfather, and then to Sheridan, Wyoming, out of one of the biggest cities, Houston, Texas. So that's the
fucking great story.
Man, we don't need heroes. It's continuous. I like this one.
So that's the synopsis of us and how we're here, why we're here, and I think why we attract to each other is because of the hustler mentality. What was your intro?
Barber by trade, hustler at heart.
Barber by trade.
Barber by trade, hustler at heart.
Barber by trade, hustler at heart. And that's what we are, just hustlers and nothing. I know I give shit to people all the time about being spoon-fed and, having a backup plan for a backup plan. Fortunately, we didn't have that.
Same.
We did not have that. And, thankfully for our mother and our father, their work ethic and their entrepreneurship, having that Holiday Lodge Motel for 35 years, a small mom and pop unit, and us adapting the work ethic at the time that we didn't know was work ethic. We just did what we were supposed to do. We cleaned rooms. We cleaned the pool. We did the lawn. We installed sprinklers. We painted the pool. We painted the house. You name it, we did it. And because of that, as it developed, as I'm 35 years old now, all of that has translated to, ironically, everything we're doing now.
I love that for you.
So, Taj, you got anything to add to that story?
No, I think we're good. That's
the synopsis of us and how we got where we're at. So what I would like to get involved is, I know you guys just started the company Benjamin Blue. It's been a year.
Yeah, we launched. Yeah.
April of 2025.
Okay. And then also, you're more on the entrepreneur side. You're very well established in Houston. So let's get you started with you and how you got your foundation in Houston, how you started and how you created things, and then how you got involved. Because I don't know much about you, Marco. And then we'll rattle from there.
Yeah, I'll give you the short version. Otherwise, we'll be here for a while.
That's right, man. We're here. We're going to tell the truth. We're going to fucking make some people pissed off probably, and we're going to go from there.
I like that.
Fuck them.
Uh,
Can I say that?
Fuck yeah, man. It's the daily dose. I ain't corporate yet.
I was in corporate America for a long time out of college. A lot of different jobs, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, partying like crazy, drugs, alcohol, the whole nine. And my partner, Leslie, and I started our first bar in 2009, I believe. Small sports bar, maybe 1,800 square feet. I still had a corporate job. I was working for Red Bull North America. So I had like the whole West Coast. And I would leave town on Monday, come back on Friday, work all weekend, party all weekend, 7 days a week. And that led to a bigger opportunity. After a couple of years, we were burning ourselves out in the bar business, and we were like, we should start a restaurant.
Sorry to interrupt you. How old were you at that time?
I was 29.
Okay.
29. So we had a small sports bar, working in corporate America, the whole nine, partying, and we had an idea for a whiskey bar. And back in those days, beer was big. Craft beer was big. Everyone was doing craft beer, but no one was doing whiskey and spirits. So we walked into a bar in South Orange County, California, and I ordered a Coors Light and Jameson. She ordered a craft cocktail, and the guy slid my money back and said, "We don't serve that shit here, the beer and the shot." So I grabbed the money, I threw it at him. We walked out, and I just told her, we're going to start a bar, right, that has craft cocktails, has Coors Light and Jameson, has good food, without all the bullshit, without all the pomp and circumstance, arrogance. And that's how Boss Cat was created back in 2013. So that went from 0 to 100. But before we got to the front door, we ran out of money about 7 times. I mean, we were the ones building the bar. We were the ones building the walls. And we took every dollar we had. And remember, I was in corporate America. So I had a 401k. We had houses. We had cars, the whole 9. We lost all of that to open the first one. So finally, we ran out of money, but we got to the finish line. First week we opened, no one showed up.
Damn.
Right? So I'd hired a whole staff, the whole 9. We had like 5 or 6 people come in. And every day at the end of the shift, I would just open up the drawer, and whatever petty cash I had, I gave it to the team. Those team members that I gave it to are still with me today. So they saw that. They said, listen, you got nothing. They saw me lose my car. And then they saw me lose my house. Then they saw me cash in my 401k. Same with Leslie. And there was a high level of loyalty in those moments. And that's when we started to really build a culture. That's when I learned what culture was. I had the hustle. I didn't have the culture. And it was my birthday in June of 14. I had my birthday. And something happened that weekend, because that next Monday, it was like a 3-hour wait. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And for the first 365 days, Leslie and I didn't take 1 day off. We just came in, we got perfecting our craft, got better. And we went from nothing to something overnight, literally overnight. And it was at that time we realized, I think we have something special here. So we bought the restaurant next door, and it was 10 Sushi. And we started rehabbing that. It was losing about 40 grand a month. So all the money we were making in one restaurant, we were losing in the other one. But we were able to turn that culture around. So over the first 3 or 4 years, we were just constantly robbing Peter to pay Paul to build these 2 restaurants up. During that time, I met what would be my wife. I met her in Vegas at a pool party. Typical douchebag shit. We were there for Floyd Mayweather fight.
That's a good story, by the way.
That's a separate time.
That's a separate story, but a good one.
But I met my wife at the pool party, and we hit it off. And I said, you know what? Let me come to Houston. Let me check out Houston. First weekend I got here, I was like, fuck Houston, man. I got stuck at the Hotel Zaza, and it flooded the whole weekend. I couldn't leave the hotel.
Man.
So I left Houston. I went back to California. I was like, not going back to Houston. But I loved Texas in general. So I came back a couple weeks later, and we did a Texas tour. We went to Dallas and Austin, San Antonio. And we got back to Houston, and we were driving through River Oaks. And a girlfriend of hers was like, yo, love your concept. I've never eaten there, but I just think you would do really well in Houston. And I'm like, I'm really not interested, but let me look.
Yeah.
So she put me in contact with her real estate broker, and he said, I have one pocket listing that may work. And he showed me the current Boss Cat location. And I couldn't see it, man. It was like it was an old pizza place that had run down called, I can't remember the fucking name of it is, but it ran down, and then River Oaks District was being built, but it was a Ford dealership. So where the River Oaks District is there now that Tillman owns, right, was a Ford dealership. They were reconverting it to a high-end mall. It's pouring rain. I'm looking down to Westheimer. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
You know? But the old man that owned the property was super cool. And he's like, listen, man, you're not going to get this type of deal anywhere, right? I'm taking a chance on you. You're taking a chance on me. And I said, fuck it. Let's run it. So I came here because of my wife, but we fell in love with the city. And then from there, you know, kind of history has been told here in Houston, but been able to open up about 4 restaurants in this city. The city is very, very loyal, very, very good to us. And we've had a great 10-year run so far.
You had Boss Cat and then 10. And what are the other ones you have?
So we had Boss Cat first, and then we opened up BCK in the Heights in 2017. Is a small burger bar on Cedarwood. Found out that Monday through Thursday, people just go home there. They don't actually go out to dinner. So great weekends, terrible weekdays. So we sold that restaurant during COVID.
Okay.
During COVID, we sold that. During that time, we also purchased 10 Sushi across the street. So it made a lot of sense because it was right in my neighborhood. It was across the street, a lot of synergy. During that time as well, Boss Cat's name was getting pretty big throughout Texas. So the landlord in the Woodlands who owned Market Street came to me and said, hey, we're kind of changing the course of the Woodlands. We're bringing in, you know, Tiffany, Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Hermes, all these things. I'm like, what does that have to do with me? And he said, we need a nice casual restaurant to go across from Mastro's. And as soon as I heard Mastro's, I said, shit, man, that's the big leagues. We need to get in that. So I went up there, looked at the property, and fell in love with it. And Tillman had just opened up Mastro's probably about 2 weeks earlier. So you had all these high-end retail, and then you had Boss Cat Kitchen. And for us, that really put us on the map from a retail perspective. And that was in 2021.
See, I think what I love about that is like we're sitting in this chair and you were talking about connections, and here you are talking about Tillman. And I guess we don't really take it for granted, or we don't act that way because Patrick is such a good friend, but we know we have that pool to pull from if we ever need to, or that circle of network of people. So it's just cool to hear like how we're all like-minded and we're all sitting in this room right now together, and how our paths have kind of crossed. And I think that's they talk about how you become the people you surround yourself with, and here you are hustling, trying to build something, and there was Tillman and Mastros, and boom, that was your thing. And like I was telling you guys with our story, we're hustling, trying to build something, and our first business meeting was with Tillman Fertitta.
Crazy.
Shark. Yeah. Big time shark. But we had enough balls to sit there and be like, all right, this is the leap of faith that we'll take. So it's just cool to hear that. And you didn't want to be in Vegas at all, huh?
We've tried Vegas. We've tried all those other cities, but honestly, Texas has been good to us. You know, and you guys know. You know, I met both you guys about 3 or 4 years ago. I came in your gym with a friend of mine. I just fell in love with the hustle, the family. You know, I got to know your sister and your brother, and obviously we've done business together over the years. But you know, that transition, to your point, like it's all the connections you create in a city. You know, and you guys have done a great job. Not to go back to you guys, but you've done a great job of establishing yourself because you're very authentic. That's what I love about you guys. That's when Marco and I said, listen, you got to follow these guys, man. Yeah. Anything I do, they support. Anything I do.
Yeah.
You know, and we need to do it back. And there's very few people like that.
I have a lot of respect for you guys.
Very few people like that.
And I love that you said that, because that's how we operate. And as we get older, we start to realize what true followers and people that want to see you win. And I'm at a point now where like, I'm getting there to where I don't give a fuck anymore, but it still bothers me because I care. But in order to grow, that's how you're going to see things. Well, I got you. Let's take the story I was talking about the investors and people that were going to support us. I got you, man. We're going to be there for you. We're going to take care of you. And then when you do it, it's silent. And thank God we didn't listen to them or like relied on them. I always say this all the time, because if we were to relied on them, we would have fucking nothing. And this goes out. You never can rely on anybody. If you want something, you got to go get it. Period is that. Yep. You know, I bring up the Vegas thing because you guys know he went to UNLV.
Yep.
And that his whole life could have changed too. But it's like, it's crazy how life works out. He could have been a coach at wherever in UNLV or you wanted to run.
Yeah, I was trying to be in the casino world.
Come on.
I started in hospitality because I wanted to be Ace Rothstein, De Niro in casino. And that's why I went to UNLV.
No shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I said to myself, and I remember Steve Wynn was hot at the time, and I was like, man, I want to be that dude. And I went to the classes, and sure enough, I find out like how much ass kissing, and it wasn't for me. And I got a job at the MGM, and I was like, man, this ain't my world, because we come from the small mom and pop motel, and I thought it was going to be so similar, and there was none of that. And we had like guest speakers come into our classes, and literally the BlackBerry was the big thing then. This guy was like, you got to have this BlackBerry and you got to be communicating with this person. And I was just like, it threw me off, and I went and switched majors the next week. So that's where, but I still have this, you know, you look at the hospitality world and the Vegas world, and I see like how restaurants are designed and things like that. All that like went with me in designing the branding, the gym, this new gym. You'll see a lot more like hospitality aspects to it that I've just learned over time and experience. And then we got married in Vegas, and we used to go back every July until my son was born. We haven't been back since 2022, but all that sticks with me. So you look at that, and then, you know, kind of going back to what you're saying about how we always support you. And that's something that I think we all do on our team do a good job of, like with our clients. And if they have a business or they're trying to do something or pursue something, like we have no choice but to support that, to help them, because they've helped us in return. And, you know, there's this Jay-Z song, which it doesn't flow anymore, but he talks about, you know, in the song, he's like, why would I drink Belvedere when Puff's got Ciroc? And, you know, we don't want to talk about Diddy now, but like that line hit me. Is like, okay, that's my boy.
and I'm drinking another vodka, but my boy's got his own vodka. So like I'm gonna support that.
Right.
So like when I go to Boss Cat or when I go to one of my other clients' companies, like why am I gonna buy a fucking Aquafina when my buddies started their own company? So like it's no choice for me to buy that.
Pub it. Staj, why do you like this Benjamin Blue so much? There you guys go if you haven't got it.
Well,
Phone sponsor time. You about to see it real time. Crack one open for Taj. Has he got one?
no, I got one right
All
here.
right, he's got one. I'll take that one.
So we go back to that topic it's funny because our other buddy Manning started a water company around the same time, and I remember I mentioned that to you. And I bought Manning's water because pure support. I'm like, I see this guy, he's trying to start his own company. He's trying to make water better. He's trying to do some things. And I was ordering Liquid Death at the time. And I was buying Ozarka waters at HEB. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to put my money towards people that I like and a brand that I can trust. So I know the water's going to be good. And then I saw this and I was like, it was so reflective of what we were doing at the time. This was right around the same time we started the supplements. I'm like, I want this guy to buy my supplements, so I'm going to buy his water.
Regal Pool. Summer's just better with a darn pool in your backyard. Regal Pools builds award-winning custom pools for families across Houston made for memories, built to last like America. Ready to get started? Call Josh at Regal Pools and tell him Dose sent you. Or see their links in the show notes for more information.
So, and then the branding just connected with me. I was like, man, this is literally something I would try to design or do, and it all connected, and the synergy was there. So,
Listen, the reason that I brought Marco into this relationship, right, and you bought in so fast too, is because I run in my own lane. I do my own program.
yeah.
I don't give a fuck about other groups. I don't care about any of that. And you guys have always been fucking supportive, even when I've kind of run in my own lane.
Yeah.
I hustle my ass off. I work my ass off, but you do your own thing from a distance. For me, right, respect and loyalty from a distance is almost greater of a bond than it's when every day,
Yeah.
right? Because you don't bust my balls about coming to the gym all the time and all those things. And those are things that I want to do, and I want to do that for you guys.
Yeah.
But these are tangible things that I can support all the time, just like you buying this,
Yeah.
right? But it's the fucking hustle that we see each other do is why I love you guys and your entire family, because your entire family reaches out and supports.
Yeah.
They don't have to do that.
Yeah.
That's love, man.
And I think and Marco, we're going to get to you too about how you got involved with Benjamin Blue. You talked about, what was it? Hustle and what was your two words? Hustle and loyalty. What'd you say it was?
Yep.
And what he means by that too is obviously a reference to John Cena retirement. Also, Joe Rogan, we're still waiting to hear back about the ACL and cadaver. We've got a lot of good responses, so we'll see if we can get this. We'll see if we get this thing rolling and me and you conversating. But yeah. Oh, dude, there it is now. We're good. Got the Rogan thing, or I need to call out Rogan again. All right, back to the Rogan thing. We got a good little response from the commentators about ACL grafts and cadavers. So, Rogan, waiting here for a comeback. If you don't believe it, you don't manifest it, guess what? Shit won't happen. So, shout out to Rogan. What I was getting at is we see you and your dad
Yep. All the time.
all the time at Memorial. And I'm talking about the crazy times that we go pre-dad, 2 in the afternoon in July. And him and his dad are out there walking for I don't know how goddamn long. And it's like, that's that respect that he's getting.
That's literally right when we would keep going and we keep seeing you walking with your dad or by yourself, and you stop and do the stairs or the benches. And I said, there's not many people like that. And that clicked with me. And I was like, okay, this guy's very like-minded. Obviously, he's more limited than us with his height and hips and all that. But I was like, man, he's working. And you go to Memorial Park in Houston at 2:00 in the summer, there's not many people. And then we kept seeing it. And like, when you show up over and over, it's when you're going to keep earning our respect.
And then even, bro, your dad, like, when we know you're not there, we fucking see him at 6 in the morning when we're running a half marathon casually. It's like, boom, and I'm big on signs, guys. Like, there's times where I'm like cooked, and then I'll catch him or he'll catch me, and then I'll see you or I'll see your dad. I'm like, dude, that's a sign. And the way I always operate in anything in life, I push myself to quote unquote fatigue, right? So when I'm doing these lunges or I'm doing these miles, and I say to myself at that point where I want to quit,
is where it starts. I say, okay, my legs are heavy, my heart's heavy, my stomach's fucked up, it's hot, I'm overheating. Natural science and people say stop. But in my head, I'm like, let's see how far we can push this fucking machine. Because in life and in business, it's when you're down and quote unquote out, or you're closing out on a location, you've been there for 10 plus years.
Yep.
That's when motherfuckers want to see you fail. And that's when they want to step on you. But what they don't understand is we train for this. We train fatigued. We train when our legs are heavy, and now we are the man in the arena. Now we go deadlift. Now we go bench. We just started, and we do this every single fucking day, 7 days a week. And I'm going to say it since 2013 in Houston, Texas, and we are never complacent. So when this came out, we said, what's next?
Yep.
When the gym was a success, we said, what's next? And I always say, people always tell me to balance. I said, man, if I was Kobe or if I was LeBron, the second I won a championship, not just for like posting purposes, next day I'd be in the gym at 3 a.m. to show motherfuckers I want it again. Fuck the parties, fuck the strip club, fuck live. I want to show people I want it again. Not because I want to portray that, but this is what I do. And that's what we did when we did this. That next day, I think I did 2 miles of lunges just to be like, got to earn it. Every time a milestone happens, we got to earn it. And, he mentioned Manning, solid guy too, because when we were trying to partner with supplements, and goes in networking and business relationships, bro, he was so honest with us. He said, man, I love your guys' product, but I think I'm going to eventually do something. So I would hate to bring it in and then tell you that this is, and the relationship to get rift. Bro, all I ever wanted in business and in life is communication. If we don't work out, totally fine. I don't care. It's life, man. It's business.
I'm coming. He told me what you told him. I'm not gonna lie. I'm scared, to be honest. I'm scared.
Well, this is a sign, bro. This is a
The
sign.
moment he said, he goes, when I feel my body's telling me to quit, and I'm like, yes, I'm stopping. Just talking shit. No, fuck. No, I get you. Though.
No, but dude, and to that note, man, we've transformed so many guys' business because Congo is not just about what it's the fucking mind, man.
Man.
And I tell people all the time, dude, if you push your mind past that little limit, or past that little, the back tightness, or my neck today, or just fucking, I do the Conor McGregor. It's what Conor McGregor did. It's one of his things. He grabs it, like Taj has got like 6 ACLs or whatever, grabs his pain, and what he does with it, throws it away. I feel no pain. And if you just take that mindset, I'm not feeling today.
We're doing this 2026, bro. We're doing that.
I'm not feeling this pain today. I'm not feeling that negative fucking money I'm in the account. I'm not feeling the 401k because I fucking asked for this.
Oof.
Put it on my shoulders.
No.
Put the world against me. Back against the wall mentality. That's when we find out who the fuck we really are. So, circling back to Manning, it was just like, he was so professional and communicative, and it's like I got so much respect for that guy because he's detail oriented like us. He's a hustler. He puts the work in, and he was communicated to us to where I can't say that for other people. It's like we got success for other people, and nobody got fucking quiet, man, fucking quiet. And you know what I say now? I used to let that shit bother me. I fucking love it. That means I got your attention. That means I'm gonna bury you, and it's okay. There's a fence of, people talk about competition, and then people say, oh, no, you're looking in the wrong lane. You should look at yourself in the mirror. That's the only competition. I call fucking bullshit. Because what every month are you guys trying to do? You're trying to hit numbers, right? Mm-hmm. Guess what? There's Liquid Death out there, isn't there? Yep. There's fucking Dasani out there. Right. All those are my people that I got to take out. Right. And that's how I operate in the morning when I'm on that VersaClimber or when I'm lunging. I think about these other people where I'm not at yet, but I'm coming. I'm up at 3 a.m. We're coming. And I know he's up. I know my brother's up. I know Halima's up. I know Cole's up. And the best blessing about all this is it's not just me. I have the fucking Avengers. And when you put 6 of us together that are working like that, we can go fucking do anything, and you guys can go fucking do anything. So that's a little fucking tidbit of going after it and wanting it and getting it. And, we just want to say we respect you and appreciate you guys for your support, and even just putting the water on the show, man. Like I said to myself, I was like, I got to a point to where like, fuck these other people. Support my people. Wear my gear. Legends wants to rock with us. Boom, Legends rocks with us. Benjamin Blue wants to rock with us. They'll rock with us. You guys got to get a point in your life to where, I talk about all the time, like a Kardashian or a LeBron or a whoever. your name is just as big as that, and you got to have the mindset of why not us?
Yeah.
Why can't we be the next? Why can't all this? And like that's the approach we live and we take about. So if you guys want to add to that, or if not,
Well, it was the same thing. There's two things, right? Jean-Paul DeJoria, right? He was the owner of a partner also in Paul Mitchell, the products, right? And then later on Patron. But he had a quote, a motto. He said, "Unshared success is failure." Right? Unshared success is failure, because even the guys at the top, nobody has it all figured out, right? People are just they're good at hiding it better, and they're good at talking a good game, right? And you see it like when people pitch a product on Shark Tank, they say I'm out, right? But then that guy will show them that it was a success, right? If they took the risk on it, right? So not everybody is right? It's your dream. It's not everybody else's, right? It's your vision. Not everybody will buy into it, but then you have many that will, and you have to focus on that, right? You're gonna have the people that are gonna make promises and they're not gonna come through, but then you have the people that just really believe in you and want to help you get there. And then you gotta focus on that, because I've experienced that in multiple businesses. And there's more takers than there are givers, and the ones that are givers, those are rare. But it's like, you guys, you want to see us win. And even like Johnny goes, man, I love, and y'all are raw. I like how transparent y'all are about where y'all came from, the humble beginnings, the hard work. It will pay off. You are successful, and you're going to continue to grow. Well, that's a fact, right? There's a saying, right? Kings are made in the valley, right? That's a real thing. It's not like when you're on the top, it's easy to preach on top of a mountain, but when you're in it, like when I lost my mom, when I was in it, it was like a ghost my soul was taken from me. When it was like this, and I looked at myself in the mirror, well, your mom just went in cardiac. She went in cardiac. Do you want us to keep working on her? I said, yes. And I'll never forget, I looked at myself in the mirror, and I'm white, bro. My soul was gone, right? And I went, she passed away. And that was the hardest thing, literally, I had to go through in my entire life. And I went through some shit, right? And then we'll talk about the purpose and reason behind all this. But I'll never forget, I was confused. I didn't know where to go. I left my mom crying at her body, took off to Memorial Park. That was my safe place. I went and I walked there. I was confused. I was looking, crying, didn't know what to do. And then I remember over that weekend, one of my buddies reached out from the gym, and he said, "What do you need?" And I said, "Can I stay with you?" I was scared.
Yeah.
I needed comfort, right? And I'll never forget, I stayed at his apartment, and then it was a Monday morning. It was a Monday morning. I remember he said, we woke up and we went to, it was 5 a.m. And I remember it was very cold that morning, like really cold, like hardly slept. And I remember we were walking to the vehicle, and I was literally thinking about people who went off into battle, right? Cold, hungry, right? They just got their families wiped out, murdered, killed, but they still had to go. And I'll never forget, shout out to Baby Bull Boxing Gym. I love my family over there. And I'll never forget, I went to that gym and I was broken. My mom just died Friday, and she was my best friend. And I was fucked up, bro, fucked up. And I've been through a lot of shit. And when I went to that, but I had to go. I had to go. And I remember when I walked in that gym, a couple of guys came to me. They were very gentle the way they approached me. And then we started class. And there we are. We're on this bags and we're rocking. Coach Codwell, love Coach Codwell, Brian Codwell. He was pushing everybody, giving everybody the drills or the combinations, and we're going, music's going. And there was a moment there that I just dropped my hands, and everybody's working, music, go, and I dropped, bro. I couldn't do it. Mm-hmm. And I started crying. Tears fell from my fucking eyes. I remember this day. And I remember he yelled at me across the room. I get choked up. I got to be very careful. He yelled at me. He sees me. And he says, "Marco!" And I look up. He goes, "You keep going." And I kept going. And I fucking kept going. 20 burpees, let's fucking go. 30 jump squats, let's go. We kept going that whole hour. And I fucking did it. I didn't give a shit. And I did it, finished. And when I got to my car, I screamed at the top of my fucking lungs. Right? And so when I see people in business and trying to make it, even if you look at like a nail salon or a bodega, something, it's still somebody's fucking dream.
Yeah.
People are going to shit on you in your dreams. We've had it done. I don't give a fuck, right? I really don't, right? Because they're not going to do anything for me, right? So, you know how you said, you try not to take it personal? That's you're supposed to. It's going to happen. right? You can't separate emotion from human beings. You can't do it, right? And man, I called bullshit a long time ago because what happens is people will tell you you're too emotional in business.
Yeah.
Right. I get it. There's decisions that are you have to make that are rash, and then there's irrational decisions. I get that part. But turn it around to that motherfucker, right? Turn it around to that person who's a multi-millionaire or billionaire, and you fuck with his money a little bit and see how personal it gets.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? You can't separate the two. For me, this is very personal. All right. So I'm blessed with a great partner. John has been a great encourager, my best friend, very supportive. And we're gonna do it fucking regardless. And it's gonna win. It's gonna happen. You have to have the no's. You have to have the investors tell you no. You have to, and I take that as God is protecting you. Right? I mean, for sure. I think so, right? Because there's something better, right? And then when you get there, right? When you get there, it makes it more, it makes the victory sweeter, right? It makes you more empathetic. Because if you get hurt and you fail and you get rejected, well, guess what? When the next entrepreneur comes, the next dreamer comes, you can be a true empath and say, I understand you. Because most of the time, bro, you don't need a motherfucker to tell you a long-winded story. You know what's men need this. Men need this. I understand you.
Yeah.
And that's it. I just need sometimes a motherfucker to understand me, so.
You know, before we even get into the, I want to know this story.
Sure.
And you talked about like entrepreneurship and going through your savings. I think for people to understand what Taj is like I always lean on him because I'm not just talk to Taj. He's the boss. Talk to Taj. But he got thrown in the fire. He didn't know how to build a gym. He didn't know how to go through permits. He didn't know all the shit that it required to. And
That's just hard.
basically being able to lean on him and his wife and be like, look, you guys got this while I handle this. So I want to get into like your mindset because I've never even asked you that. Was there ever pressure there? And I know some of your inspiration and motivation came from all the fucking mistakes we saw at the gym we were at. And he was already big on that. He was already designing t-shirts at that gym. We're making money. So he already had, that entrepreneur mindset, but it's a whole different when you don't have, I'll say, the safe paycheck coming your way, even though it wasn't a lot, but it's safe. Every bi-weekly you're getting that paycheck. And then here we are, we depart, and I'm asking him, all right, man, negotiate the lease, figure out this, build this. So get to some of that. And then we'll talk about the next gym too, if you want to. And then I really want to hit this nail on the head of the Benjamin Blue as well after that.
Yeah, I think in terms of kind of what you're asking is like, how did I just start going into it and learning business 101?
Yeah, I think that's all of us too.
I think like what you're saying, a lot of it was seeing our former employers and former people operate a company, and it's that in your mind, like, okay, if they can fucking do it, I got to be able to do it. And you see how poor other things were ran. I told myself, and my wife helped a ton. We both just took it by the horns and had to figure it out. But it was a lot of like trust in us figuring it out, and then a lot of like, hey, these guys were so bad at it, we got to be better. And early on, we were scared to do it, and we relied on other people. And we thought these other people were going to set up all the back end for us, and we still could just be trainers. And having that trust, because these terms scare you. The term LLC scares you. The term of loan, the term of all that shit is scary. Because you go to school, you don't learn that shit, honestly. We learn mathematics and social studies.
I do remember the Pythagorean theorem though.
So that's the
I don't know what the hell that is, dude.
A squared plus B squared equals C squared.
Oh, shit.
that's a lot of it is the knowledge. It's like not having the knowledge and then forcing yourself to learn it. And then for me, I think a big part was he wanted this so much that so many people failed on him or didn't help him, that I'm his brother and his sister-in-law, that we're going to do it for him. And so that was where like, man, I feel like I'm the older brother. I got to figure this out, and I got to lead it up to him, and then I got to throw the lob to him where he can now come in and do what all he wanted in the beginning was just be an elite trainer. So I had to provide the tools and the necessary products to get to him where he needs to be. So that was a lot of it. And now
you take that first experience, those 5-6 years of learning everything on the fly, and now we're going into that second gym, is like, now I'm more calculated. Now I know a little more what I want, and I'm not just taking anyone's advice, and I'm more selective on who I'm working with and how I'm working with things. Whereas in the past, we would take any help we could get and trust everybody. Now people give me advice, and I don't even listen to a lot of it. I just take it, and then I consume what I feel is right. I feel like I have this really good filter, and the people that come in front of me, I know who's a bullshitter and I know who's not, and who's really going to help. And I think that's my biggest growth factor, is just my filtration system, and understanding and trusting people is better than it has been.
I think that people need to heed some advice from this, because this is why we get along. Everyone sees the outcome. They didn't see the process, right?
Yeah.
A lot of entrepreneurs are scared to start the process. What we are unafraid of failure. That doesn't mean we weren't afraid of failure,
Yes.
right? But we took the leap. I had no fucking idea how to run a restaurant group with 500 employees, 54 managers, tens of millions of dollars. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea how to build a fucking restaurant. You learn, right, out of desperation. You learn out of that fear.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people who watch this kind of stuff and subscribe to what you guys do and learn about us, right, it was about overcoming that fear.
Yeah.
Because the moment you learn it, you no longer need that crutch.
Yeah.
That's the thing that's my new drug. I don't do drugs or alcohol anymore. That's my drug.
Yeah.
I love learning, right, how to do something that someone else had to do for me, that I no longer require that person.
Yeah.
I don't want you to have power over me. I fucking hate that.
Yeah.
Right? So when you learn how to build a gym, you learn all those things. Like, it resonates with me. I have goosebumps right now, because first time I walked into a restaurant, I'm like, I have no fucking idea how to build this thing. Right? I couldn't center a wall.
Yeah.
No fucking idea. But what I did know is I did know what the outcome I wanted.
Yes.
Right? And then that's the thing. If people are flexible on your path, but not flexible on your vision, you will be successful.
I like that.
That's the thing. People forget that.
Yeah.
What it looked like, what Congo looked like in your mind before you came on board is not what it is now.
Yeah.
Right? It's not.
Yeah.
100% not. It's bigger.
Yeah.
It's better. Right? It's tougher.
Yeah.
Right? That's what people don't realize.
Yeah, and even when we got the first Congo open, I think he understands more than a lot of people. I wasn't still happy with the product. I was like, okay, this gets us some legwork. I wasn't happy with the way you walk in. I felt like the building wasn't transformed to what it needed to be. But I was like, okay, people will love this, but they don't know what's really to come. So like for 5 years, I'm grateful. But I was like, man, I know there's more out there for this company and what these people in the city need to experience in a gym. And I had experienced so many gyms. I'd been to Rumble Boxing and Barry's Boot Camp, and I saw all these things. And like you're saying, I didn't think I'd have the experience to build my own Barry's or Rumble or something like that. But now I see those places. I'm like, they did that shit wrong. I'm going to do this shit better. They do this. I'm going to do it better. And you talk about fear. You talk about this, and I know you relate because we're in the same era of movies, but Karate Kid, he says, I'm afraid, Mr. Miyagi, I'm afraid. He goes, Daniel-san, no fear. And he goes on. What happens in Rocky 3? Adrian, I'm afraid. I'm fucking afraid.
Yes.
So those two movies resonate because the whole common theme to achieve
that one.
where they need to be is fear.
Bro, it's so fucking real.
Getting over the fear, getting over not having experience, and getting over those elements in life is what's going to take you to the next level. Just like a rookie quarterback under the first snap, John Elway, not knowing if he was going to be good, you go 10, 20 years down the road and you get those Super Bowls. It's all about eliminating fear and embracing the fear.
And
Oh, that was so good.
to add into the Elway thing, because I just watched his documentary. I obviously grew up with him, but
just
so
came out, right?
much,
Netflix.
so much respect, because that motherfucker went to the Super Bowl so many times, didn't win, got his ass kicked. He was getting older, his knees, his back, and he stayed in it to the end of his career. And I tell Priscilla all this all the time because she just passed her real estate exam, and I had a conversation with her. You guys probably seen the image of the guy going through a hole and going for gold, right?
Yep.
And he's right fucking here, but those people decide to stop, and the gold is right there. Elway kept going. He saw the gold. She listened to me. She kept going and saw the goal, saw the end result. Dude, because of us, our relentlessness, all this relentlessness. Like, people can say what they fucking want about Dana White, Donald Trump, fucking hate these guys all you want. Tillman Fertitas, the fucking difference between those guys and the people that don't succeed and the motherfuckers that are sitting in their home or across the table with their legs crossed, judging them and saying they're this, they're that, they're this, because you never had the fucking balls to go do it yourself and put the weight of the world on your shoulders every single day too, because more money, more problems, more success, more problems, but we stay in it. And he talked about fear. Bro, when I made that first LLC that we made with investors that said they were going to do it for us, look, Dos and Taj, looks like these guys want some paperwork. Guys going to have to hire a legal team. So we had to figure out what fucking legal we were going to do. Once we got the paperwork solved, that legal paperwork was like $12,500. I only had 13 grand in my bank account. And him and Jen just moved from Wyoming, right? Salt Lake, because he was still volunteering, GA-ing, halfway coaching, getting money on the side, doing what they can to live their life. Jen was working a lab job, doing blood work. So he didn't have much at the time. He came out on a dream too. So I'm saying this because for these interns and these people out there wanting to climb the industry and training, we fucking worked for free. We didn't have much. So I spent $12,500 of my $13,000 on that LLC that they helped created, and we pitched it to the investors that they said they needed it. You want to know what happened? Not one of them fucking replied. That's the truth. It'll never change. No emails, no texts, no nothing. And it wasn't because of him that said, fuck it, we're going to do it ourselves. And without him and that push and that fear, because here I am, I'm like, fuck, dude, I just drained my savings account for this. Well, guess what? Back's against the wall. We are who we say we are. Yeah. We're rah-rahing.
Those people that ghosted us, or those type of people, are the first ones that are going to say, well, it worked out for you. It happened, right? Didn't we help you by doing that? Look, it all worked out in the same, but at the same time, you can't. People get mad at us because we don't forget shit. Like, we see a friend from so-and-so back in the day, and we had beef with them back in the day, and they want to shake our hand. We are brash because we won't shake that hand. And there's not many people like that now. And that's, to this day, it burns us in terms of how people look at us, but it also earns respect from a lot of people too.
Yeah, and our good client Warren, you guys need to talk to Warren. He's a fucking entrepreneur. He finally got something in my head. He says, Dos, stop being yourself. Be authentically you. That's what we come for. That's what we're here for. Because I got to a point where I'm like, I don't want to ruffle this feather. I don't want to yell. I'm working with this client. And the more and more I sat back and looked at it, I said, man, motherfuckers love that I'm yelling. Motherfuckers love that I'm raw and I'm authentic. And that's one thing I'm not backing away from. And he talked about the handshake stuff. And people have different perspective. Again, competition and blessings. You're stopping yourself from God's blessing by holding on to anger. I tell people, it's not about holding on and grudges. It's like, you fucking need that shit when your mother passes away, or when you're going through stuff in your business and it's fucking hot in the afternoon and you don't know how you're going to pay yourself or pay somebody else. You need those demons, and you pull those demons out. And then after you succeed, the way I contradict or I stop the whole God thing and blocking my blessings is I give.
Yeah, but I don't agree with that, right? Because anger is an attribute of God. Anger is an attribute of God, right? So anger is a good thing. It's just how you express it, right? Because you can express it in a disrespectful way,
yeah,
right? But I like what you said, right? There's things you'll always remember these things. You'll remember how people make you feel. You remember what they say, whether good or bad. And some things will hit. I'm gonna tell you this, and John will tell you. I have my memory is like photographic. Is it not? Yeah. I will remember things, and I will dissect what you say, right? And if you say something where you insult me, disrespect me, I may not say it, but I said, I got you now.
Yeah.
And I'll move accordingly. And I've been that way. I don't need to shake your hand. Remember this when you did this years ago, and now you want to come up to me, shake it? And I'm not fake. So I'll tell them, move around.
Yeah.
Fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? So it's not a bad thing.
That's
So don't let anybody tell you that. You know what I mean? Your relationship with God that's your relationship. But having that anger again, bro, that's not a bad thing. That's the way you move. It's not like you're doing something to hurt them. No, you disrespect. You stay that way. I'm good over here.
One thing I've taken from the doubters and the fake motherfuckers out there is I no longer want to give them my energy.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I that's different, right? I'm with you. You walk up to me and you said some shit about me, right? My hand will not be extended.
Yeah.
100%, right? I don't roll with that. But I'm also I'm going to forgive a lot of those people too, because I don't want the energy with them.
Yeah.
I'll just keep walking by them. I'll roll by
So
them.
how do you handle that in the business world where they now are at your restaurant? And that's
I'll
where
tell
it's
you.
tough for us.
See, this is where I had a mentor who taught me this too. He said, you don't want these. I had the same thing, man. I had so many people like, I got you 10 grand, 20 grand, 30 grand. When I needed it, right? It was like, where'd that guy go?
Yeah.
Blessing, because I don't owe those motherfuckers anything,
Yeah.
right? So that's how I look at it. But they would walk in my restaurant, and Leslie, my business partner, would be like, why are you mad, man?
Yeah.
They're in here spending money.
Yeah.
I'm like, because it's disrespectful, right? And she said, no, it's disrespectful, right? That you're allowing them to control that narrative for you, right? They're in your restaurant. That's a success, spending money,
Yeah.
right? Think about that. And that really shaped a lot of my anger towards people, man, because there's a lot of people I see out there and they move funny. And I don't like that, but I just don't give them my energy anymore,
Yeah.
you know, because I would hold on to it too. But now, not personal fire, and this is the same for you guys too. We have so much personal fire. I don't need more fire.
Yeah.
Right? I get up every day, I see my little daughter, and I'm like, I don't need any other fire.
Yeah.
Right? And all those doubters, I keep log of that, but I just don't give that shit my energy anymore. You know, and I look to people like you guys and like Marco and his story. When you hear his story, it's crazy. But I look to that because I need that motivation. Just like you all, when you see me walking with my dad, and you're like, fuck, I need to keep running.
Yeah.
You have no idea what that means to my dad when you run by him at 6 a.m, at 5:30 in the morning. You're like, Mr. Reed, right? You have no idea what that does for him. Because when we walked 10 miles every day, he was like, we walked the extra 3 because he saw you.
Yeah.
He's like, every time I see those boys, right? I'm like, fuck it, I was going to be done. And then I can't be done, right? Those little motivators in life are more important to me, that energy, than all the other
100%.
bullshit.
Yeah.
Because I need that. When I wake up in the morning, you fuckers are up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, God damn.
Yeah.
You know, I just slept till 7. Like, fuck.
When did they go to bed?
Fuck.
They slept 30 minutes in their back. I'm like, shit.
So I like that. We need that. We need more of that in this world.
We
And
get
that's
you,
what
though.
Congo gives you, right? When you're talking about your design, not to digress, I love the fact that you took the hospitality world and you integrated it into Congo, because everything you guys do is why we vibe,
Yeah.
right? You don't do anything half-ass. I own all your T-shirts. Everything's different. Everything's unique.
Guys, y'all got a fucking brand, bro. Like, for real.
But
Y'all
that
got brand.
that story you have right now, you walk in downstairs, it's kind of quiet, but you can hear the echo of the floor fucking bouncing, right? That anxiety, I don't care if they come to you every day. That anxiety is starting. They start to hit the stairs like, fuck, man.
That's why I get the water and I walk out.
Yeah.
Hey, come up here, join us for no. Got a stomach ache.
But see,
He
but
drops
see,
those off at the stairs.
Hey, quick, I don't even say fuck.
but the moment you turn the corner, right, even as a newbie, and you walk into that gym, right, and the entire gym turns to you, and they don't turn to you like you're weird or you're different or who the fuck are you. It's this immediate energy, like they just grab you and pull you into that, right? That's why you win. So whatever gym you build next, and I know you're building a fucking legendary gym, some of those components
Yeah.
need to remain, because that quietness when you first walk in and that amplification as you walk up those stairs, that's part of the process,
Yeah.
right? That's part of your magic sauce, 100%.
Hey, it's the same with our water. There's some of these guys. I mean, we got enemies, and I know they did. Some of these guys maybe don't even know it. Drink it,
Yeah.
buy it. I'll take your money, right? I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I want to I wish I could have pour some liquid X-Lax in there or something, give them the shits or something. I'm like, drink it.
Yeah.
I'll take your money. You know,
And
what I mean?
we have that with our supplements,
Yeah.
and I don't have no problem with that. Like, we have guys that order the stuff, and it's funny to me when I pack it. But for some reason, the gym stuff's a little harder because, okay, you talk shit about my sister, or you talk shit about my brother, and you're in here paying, or you talk shit about me as a dad, and you're paying my family $50 to come work out. Like, I get it. Thank you for your business. Thank you for it. You're a fool, but I think it's a little more like you see
Well, it's
that.
personal.
Yeah,
It's personal, but again,
because it's less interaction than packing an order.
it's personal. But to John, like, here's the thing: John's got a great point, but also there's boundaries.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's a fine line.
Yeah,
I've cut clients off, bro, because they've been disrespectful.
yeah,
Right. And I'm literally had clients talk to me like a certain way, and I have to be so calm. And then I said, get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? Because they're disrespectful. So there's fine lines too, man. You know, you got to create those boundaries, you know. So all money's not good money either.
All money's not good money.
So that's a choice too. You know, it's okay to fire clients.
yeah. And that's
you know what I'm
something
saying?
I've also learned is we were taught so early on that all money is good money, and I kept hearing that, and I kept seeing it, and I was like, no, I don't believe that.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
And
To this day, I believe what you guys say is it all ain't that good.
No, you can't take it because it comes with a price.
Yeah.
It comes with a price. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You keep pointing at me. No. It's bothering. I'm disrespecting you. I'm sorry. He's getting pissed over. That's why you're sweating over there.
This guy always fucking sweats. I'm big on the universe too. So we're talking about this stuff. Perfect. I'm gonna let it go. So I tap that. It's always like to get the gauge of what's going on in the pod, and I'm so blessed that he's come in my life because you were playing the Joe Pesci. What was it, Goodfellas?
It was Casino again.
Great movie.
No, Casino. So Aaron, he's gonna send you the link. Put fucking Joe Pesci Casino talking about disrespect and going off because I'm that guy. But then he's ace and he kind of balances me out, and that has helped me tremendously, which is why, like, even when I go to the platform when I'm fucking pulling 500 pounds or I'm doing the deadlifts or I'm doing stuff, I pride myself on and being like this. Just fucking calm. I always preach about calm in the chaos. I visualize all the stuff that we just talked about. I put it right here. I don't go up there angry. I do it calmly, but I have it all fucking right here. And the ultimate win is being able to lift that up and then I let it out. And with that, we're going to take a quick break for our sponsors, sway it out, shake it out, and some questions coming up. So I'm going to just take a quick little break. Looking to turn the backyard into the hangout spot for the summer? Regal Pools is Houston premier award-winning residential pool builder. Congo tough, I like to say. From luxury design to flawless construction. If you can dream it, Riga Pools can build it. Book a consultation today. One of our sponsors is Stevie Warren, your Houston real estate pro and fellow Congo warrior. Listen, you don't come to Congo for easy workouts, and you shouldn't settle for a pushover agent either. When it's time to buy or sell, you want someone who can handle the heat and fight your battles. Call Thebe. If she can survive Congo, she can handle any real estate hurdle. Save your sweat for the gym, not your real estate deal. Call Thebe Warren. Sebastian Plumbing. If you need a plumber, Sebastian's our guy. Plumbing problems never come at a good time, but when it happens, call Sebastian. Whether it's a clogged drain, burst pipe, or water heater failure, Sebastian Plumbing is ready to tackle the job with a fast professional service. That just means don't shit down the hole and use too much goddamn toilet paper. Don't stress the mess. Just remember, when it happens, call Sebastian Plumbing at 346-556-6709 or online at sebastianplumbing.com. And we're back. Thank you for all of our sponsors. We got some more fire coming at you. So we're actually going to get to Marco. Let's get to your little story. You're actually just telling some right now, and then how Benjamin Blue created and how you guys aligned, and we'll go from there.
All right, so let's talk about how we came with the story. How Benjamin Blue came about. So, like COVID, right? I got rocked during COVID financially. I had an import company, it did very well. Anyway, fell through, and I fell into a deep depression. This is the first time in my life, and again, guys, I've been through a lot, but this is the first time in my life that it made me a firm believer, a true believer of mental health. You know, I felt like everybody else, you deal with mild depression, anxiety, stuff like that, but this was like, my money got rocked. I had my identity stolen. Like, I went through some stuff that I was like, what the hell?
This was all during COVID?
Yeah, like toward the tail end of it. Yeah, during and toward the tail end of it. I mean, I got rocked, man. And I was so depressed that, you know, you usually try to thug it out as a man and just do your thing, but this time I couldn't. I mean, for me to tell my mom I'm depressed, that was a big deal, you know, because I take it myself. I was calling my friends, and they were literally coming to my house and like picking me up, taking me to the park to walk. I couldn't move. Like, I physically couldn't move. So my buddy Dan Henderson, he took me for a walk, and we went to Rice University and we walked because he just got out of some depression, 6 months depression. So he came quick, bro. He got it. And I went for a walk, and I said, okay, I can do this. I can get up and go for walks, right? I needed something to do. And I remember I was in my house, and I was in my living room, and it was about 4:30 in the afternoon. And I said, and I was just so depressed, I just walked to my bedroom just to sleep. And I said, God help me. And I passed out, man. I was out, right? Mental anguish, passed out. And I remember I had a dream. And this dream, this man came to me. I was on these stairs. I could see myself. Like, I was looking down the stairs, and there's this man, and he was like kind of angled at me and he pointed at me and he said, I mean, he was quick. He's like, God will bless your investment. And boom, I wake up from that dream quick, bro. I mean, this is a true story, man. Like this is I can't make this up, dude, you know? So anyway, I grab my phone and I look, it's like 3 a.m. And bro, I'm like this, I'm like, investment, what investment? Like, I ain't got no money. I'm grumbling to God and talking to him, whatever. Call my mom the next morning. I said, Mom, I said, I had the dream. And I've always had very vivid dreams since I was a kid, right? They're crazy. My mom was like, just pray about it, son. So I said, all right. And I'm talking to God. I'm not thinking about business, man. I'm in this crazy financial situation. What I'm going to do. So anyway, a story, the same guy that took me for a walk, shout out to my boy, Dan Henderson. Love him. He's an entrepreneur. There's a story he told me about 15 years ago that was nagging me. And it was coming to mind like every day. And this is the story. This is how we got the idea, right? So he went to go see his father in the hospital. His father was dying. His dad was a businessman, right? And his dad asked for some water. So they poured him some water. And he goes, no, I don't want that water. I want that good water. I want that $100 water at the machine. He understood the markup of water, right? So that story was just nagging me. And I was like, shit, why didn't I start a bottled water company based around the $100 bill? But I'll sell it to the culture, right? Because I was paying attention to YouTube and, you know, Instagram and TikTok. And I was noticing how the hip hop culture, anywhere from Mexico to Japan to Germany, like it's just a melting pot, right? Especially here in the States, right? And what I just wanted to take what they talk about and I want to put it in their hands, right? So I was like, fuck it. I did a mock-up, right, of the water. And it was on a can, you know, showed John, and John was like, that's cool, you know? He was the first person, well, besides Dan, it was him, right? And I said, do you like it? He goes, yeah, it's cool. I said, do you love it? He goes, no, I don't love it, right? And this is like, I think this is before I even asked, like, hey man, you know, like I want you to get in this with me, right? And he was like, no, I don't love it. So went back to the drawing board, right? And then came back, showed John, and John was like, fuck, like this is good. This is it, right? This was the concept. Again, it was just a rendering, right? And again, there was a lot of work like during that time, right? Finding the co-packers, again, even just to get the design right, took a long time. But in the process, when you're seeking, right? Look, here's one thing for sure. God knows about me. And I cry about so many things, but he knows I'm a hustler and I'm listening, right? So I moved on it. So what this did, it gave me hope, right? Because I was like, I could do something again, right? I could move. But also in the process, John, he came around and he got emotional with me because he saw how depressed I was. And he sat in my chair and he goes, bro, you spent about, you know, close to 7 years of your life in prison. And he had tears in his eyes. My homie had tears in his eyes. And he goes, you got to move, bro. You got to do something, right? So he goes, you got to start cutting hair again. So I was like, okay, let's do it again. I had let go of everything. I had to literally start from scratch, homie. You know what I'm saying? Broke. So, you know, I started hitting up clients. A lot of clients thought I had moved to California for my import company. So little by little, I was building again, working on this. And, you know, starting to go to the gym, little bit. I was climbing out of this depression. In the process, my mom calls me, right? She calls me and she said, she was complaining about her back. Her back was hurting her. And she goes, son, can you take me to the hospital? It was on a Friday. And remember, I got sober. I went sober for about 3 years, but I was sober about 3 months at the time, right? Because I was like, if you're depressed, you don't need to be drinking alcohol. It's not good because it's a depressant, you know what I'm saying? So I just stopped. And as she called me Friday, she goes, I'm hungry though. So she came upstairs, fed her. And then we went to the hospital right there off of Studimont by the Kroger. And we were sitting there and I remember this. And I said, Mom, I'm glad I'm here with you. And I said, because, you know, you think it's Friday. I would be at a happy hour, you know, eating, you know, some Mexican food, drinking margaritas. And my mom would have probably called me, told her I'm here at the hospital. I said, but do you need me? You know, you're like, yeah. But you're not there. You know, you're like, I'll be there if it's like, if it's dire, you know? So I was grateful for that moment because I was emotionally available. I learned a lot during that sobriety. You know, being emotionally available is a big deal, right? And I was there for her. And anyway, she stayed the night. 8 o'clock in the morning was my boxing class. And she called me at 7:50. Ringer was always on for Mom, always. Picked up the phone. I said, hey, Mama, what's up? And she said, son, well, they found 7 lesions that could be cancerous. And I said, are you scared, Mama? And she goes, I'm scared, son. And she cried. I said, we're going to make it. So this was the second time. My mama, She had cancer the first time. So the second time I was like, oh shit, is this another go, right? So did the class. And brother, I'm gonna tell you something. I went home and I was in my kitchen and I broke, dude. I broke, and I was like, not again, not again. And I fell, dude. I fell to my knees, man. Literally, I fell to my knees and I cried to God. I cried to him. And I said, I can't do this again. And literally, I heard his voice. And he said, she's not dead yet. You can call her. And I said, okay. So I lifted myself off that floor. I wiped my tears and I called her. And I said, what are you doing, Mama? She goes, oh, I'm just ready to get up out of this hospital. And I said, well, I want you to come stay with me for a few. She goes, yeah, I will. And we're talking a little bit. But she could hear that I was stuffed up, And she said, were you crying, son? And I broke. And I said, yeah, Mama. I said, I'm not ready to lose you, And I cried to her on the phone. She came, picked her up. She came to stay with me. And I remember I would always let her sleep in my room. And she was laying in the bed. And I went to go lay like right here by her stomach, like a child, this grown man, And I laid next to her and she said, son, I never heard you cry like that before. I always consider myself a tough guy, and try to thug it out, do my thing. I didn't want to put that pressure on her. And I'll never forget. She said, Mama's going to fight, son. She goes, Mama's going to fight. 10 months later, she's gone, And that was hard, right? Because I just fought depression. Yeah. And then I lost my father at 23 to an overdose of cocaine, 22, something like that, 22 years old, OD'd. And I remember that, but this one rocked me because she was my everything. She was my heart. And to see my mom's lifeless body, to kiss her while she was still warm and to whisper in her ear, thank you for being my mother, to take a sock off her feet and kiss her feet, knowing she was gone already, it was like, again, here I go again. So those months, right? I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. All I could do was work and work out, and I didn't know what to do. And I was sick to my stomach. I didn't know what to do. I remember grabbing my suits. I remember writing her eulogy. I remember all these little detailed things. And I don't even know how I kept it together at her funeral, to be honest. People said, you didn't. I said, I don't remember. I just know it was there, right? And you know what's so crazy about this? I never cursed God. I was never angry at him. I was never angry at him. There's times I asked the why, but I just continue to ask for strength. I said, give me the strength, because I fought the depression, went through prison. I've been stabbed 5 times, been shot at, been in gangs, been through some shit, bro, grew up in that life, And, but I've always wanted to just make it. I wanted to do it right in the entrepreneur world, right? I didn't want to go back to the game, right? Because there's victory in legitimacy, right? There's victory when you're doing it right. You can yell it on the rooftop. There's no victory in, going back to prison and dope game. It's not a real life. It's not to be proud of it, right? That family, that life destroyed my life. So going through it, and I remember I was in there, I was crying, man. I was crying and screaming days, months. I was crying. And I remember the story of Job, and it was so dope. Job had everything and had everything taken away from him, right? It's biblical, right? Everything taken away from him. And his wife told him this, why don't you just curse God and die, right? And this man lost everything. He lost everything. I lost everything financially. I was depressed. Here I got hope again. I'm going to start a water company. And then my mom dies, And I'm like, man, I'm trying over here and I keep getting hit. Literally, he had everything taken from him. His wife told him, why don't you just curse God and die? And he said, shall we not bless God when times are only good? Shall we not bless him when times are bad? And he said, naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I shall return. He said, the Lord gives and the Lord takes away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. And I'm going to tell you something, homie. I said that in my kitchen, crying, hunched over. And I said, you give and you take away, but I'll still bless your name. Yeah. And every day I cried for her. Every day I cried for her, sick to my stomach. But I kept on with the vision. I kept on with the vision. I kept going. I kept going. And the more and more I kept going, John was such a catalyst in my life, not only a friend, but he showed up for me. He latched onto the dream, right? And here, you know what? The thing is, he wanted me to win. It wasn't about him. He loved on me Like John has been such a good friend. Remember I told you you got the givers and takers, and you said how you were with your brother. You wanted his dream to come true, right? That trust factor there, right? I trust John with everything, right? I know he's not going to hurt me. You know, he's not going to do anything backhanded or grimy. You know, so that's a real thing when you have that trust and you feel safe. So I feel safe with John, his family. I feel safe. So he invested in this. This dream became his dream, and we've learned together, right? So in this process, again, it was a long process, right? And we literally learned the water business, bro. But I put my mom's signature on that bottle. I took it off her driver license and I put it on there in her honor. I put her birthday on there. I put my federal prison number on there, right? Because I'm like, this is going to be a story, one in honor of her. Because guess what? Even though my mom didn't see the final product, you know, she'd tell me, I'm proud of you, son. Right? I'm proud of you, right? I'm not a dope dealer. I'm not a gang member. Been there, done that, didn't work out, you know. There's no victory. I wanted to make my family proud. My dad at 54 years old, my dad was a Vietnam vet, owned clubs, owned bars, but my dad was always a drug dealer. God bless his soul. My dad died at 54 years old, overdose of cocaine, as a drug dealer. What's his legacy? You know what I'm saying? Like it stops with me. So that's why I say Benjamin Blue is very personal. This right here is for the kids that came from nothing or humble beginnings, or the kids that have dreams, right? It's money, right? I got an idea and I ran with it. Why not? Fuck it, right? Put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah. And
right?
that right there immediately makes me want to just, keep buying it or keep buying it. Or like, it's literally, why would you buy something else instead of supporting the vision and story behind that? Now, I want to add this real quick because I saved this on Instagram and I want you guys to watch this in real time because this is really like about you guys. It talked about just being around.
Don't eat with people you wouldn't starve with. To me, like, loyalty is really big. Because then if you invest in certain people in your life and they stick by you and you stick by them, and what else is life about?
Yeah, well, hardship will show you who your real friends are. That's for sure. It's been a great ride, this podcast thing, and you're the reason I started the podcast. You inspired me to do it. You told me to do it, did it, and you've also been an amazing friend. You showed up in some very challenging times, and you've shown up for me publicly. You've shown up for me in my home, in my life, and, you know, it's an honor to have you as a friend. Thank you. I love you, brother. Love you too.
Fuck. Ugh, should get choked up. I love you.
See,
brother.
this story
He showed
to
up
kind of
too,
round
Love you too, dog.
John has showed up for me.
to round it out.
Proud of you, bro.
You know,
We gotta come up with something,
Oh,
bro.
dude.
We gotta come up with something.
But no,
how,
I
how
saw
you
that shot
guys
of you
operate
guys.
together,
Very good.
right, is very similar to how we operate together, right? Is I'm you, right? I've been very fortunate to do very well in the restaurant business. Came from nothing. Parents were teachers, had nothing. My dad works for me, as you guys know that, and was able to make some good money, a good legacy. But I'd never built someone else's legacy. His vulnerability, going to prison, talking about that, leaning into it, that's not a vulnerability to me. That's not a weakness to me. Like the way he talks about it is strength, right? But taking an idea and making it a business are two very different things. That's where I came into play with this brand, was taking that story that he has and creating some legitimacy around the brand. Like, how do we build this thing together with structure? Because every partnership has to have yin and yang, right? You have to have the emotional, right? You also have to have that steady hand.
Yeah.
You know, and that's how we've been able to take this thing and make it a multi-million-dollar business in less than a year. I mean, we're going to be in, you know, at least 1,000 C-stores by March, April of this year. We'll be in national chains right before the end of the year. We've been able to do all that because we've been able to parlay not just a great story, but great juice, right? Natural spring water, not purified. Purified's easy, right? But the water game is boring as fuck. No one's doing what he envisioned on the front of that bottle. End of the day, that gets you to buy it once. We got to get you to buy it again.
Yes.
Right? And that's where we decided as a group, we're like, listen, man, let's make sure the product inside the bottle is as good on the outside of the bottle. Yeah. And there's obstacles with that too, but that's why the business is so good right now and we're able to grow it. We have great loyalty, right, with the people that love us, but we have a product that sells itself because it's a cool story, which people learn the story as it's going, right? They identify the brand first and foremost. And that's what we're working on right now. Very similar to what you guys are doing is making sure that people understand what the brand actually is, right? And why it's good for you. And then making sure the water on the inside, right, matches that, right? But see, we're doing something different. I think it's a lot like you guys. You cannot be everything to everybody.
Yes.
But water is for everybody, right? So we can have something for everybody. There's a big difference between being something for everybody and having something for everybody. That's why we have the plastic, we have the aluminum, right? We're working on glass. We have these different iterations, right? This dude's mind is fucking wild, right? It's wild. We have so many different iterations because the water industry is fucking boring and there's no one going upstream but Liquid Death.
Yeah.
But Liquid Death, right? That's not our competition.
Hey, we didn't know it was gonna be the hardest category either. Like water, like when we jumped in this shit, like water, the water category is the hardest in the NA space. It is the toughest. Like you're competing with Avion, you're competing with Fiji. These guys are writing checks, right, to big groups, hospitality groups, and we're like, shit. Hey, and I told John when I go, you fucked up, dog. I go, we're in this thing together. Hey, y'all are big movie buffs. Do y'all remember the movie Colors? Y'all have, bro. I can't touch on it.
Way back.
Y'all gotta watch Colors, man. The '80s movie about Crips and Bloods.
Yeah.
Watch the movie. It's a great movie. There's a part in there, right? The Hispanics went against with the Crips, so all the Hispanic, all the Mexican gang, they got together, and then the little brother, he was like, "I want in, it's mi barrio," right? And then they're like, and the OG, the brother, his name is Frog. He was like, "Get the fuck off the porch, Holmes." So they push him off, and they start beating his ass, right? And the brother just watching it, right, where they're jumping him in, and his homeboy's like nudging him. He's like, "Nah, let it keep going." So finally, he's like, "All right, that's enough." So he goes up to his brother after his ass got kicked. And this is what I tell John. He goes up, he goes, "You did good, little brother." He goes, "You fucked up. You joined the gang." So I told John, like, it's too late, bro. We're millions of dollars in.
Yeah.
Like, ain't no going back. So like you guys, right? There's no plan B. There's no option. The fear, like that fear that we have, right? It's like, fuck it. It's the same thing when I was selling dope, bro. I would go to Mexico. I would literally drive 17, 18 hours to Guadalajara, Mexico to get them cheaper. Was I scared? Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. That shit's scary, bro. To get stopped by the army on the way back, Mexican police, like, ooh, you're going to die, bro, you know? But I was hungry. I wanted it, right? I said, I got to go get it. So same thing. What plan do you have? Like, this has to work.
Yeah.
There's no other way, you know, so.
I think, I didn't know about the, your mom, that's her
Yeah,
mom.
look,
Like,
this
bro,
is her signature.
that's
Look,
so
I
sick.
pulled that off her driver license. Like, that's her legit signature. Her
That's
birthday, 1/18/55, 20273-179. You could literally go to FBOP, Federal Bureau of Prisons, and you type that number in, and it says my release date.
nice. I love it.
Fuck you.
I love it.
Straight up, you know?
That's beautiful knowing the story, and I think even
This is John before his hair transplant.
that was pretty.
Baby, because I'm a thug. Now I love you, bro.
But I had, we had Bram on here.
Laughing.
We had Bram on here. It was the last episode, the episode before. He unfortunately lost his legs, and I was talking to Priscilla, my mom, and these guys, and I say, especially me, where I'm at now that he has 2 kids, and I heard your story that I had no about, and I heard your story, and I always pride myself is I can't say I'm tired. I can't say I need this, right? I don't ever woe is me, because life is about perspective, and when he didn't have his legs, and I'm bitching about this, or you were, going through with your mom, and I didn't want to vision that with my mom, and it's just like, that's why we go as hard as we do, and it's a never quit mentality, and even just the design, like when Taj, I'm gonna say Taj and Bacha, so like I'm fortunate enough, I'm in it, but Bacha, formulator, scientific, all that, and then as aesthetics, and Taj can talk more maybe about this. Maybe about the
Brandon
sangria.
is sick, bro.
Sorry, everybody. Santa Sangria did not come for the holidays. We let everybody know production fucked up. It's not Taj's fault. It's not our fault. It's the life of being a business person. And again, it's on his shoulders, and he took ownership. It's on our shoulders. We took ownership. But all this design is childhood.
Super dope.
He took all that, and with Bacha, put it all into one, combined everything we're doing. So I feel like products like this that has a story will succeed. Your story will succeed. And I know I'm bringing this stuff up, but I say shit like this all the time. And I want you guys to watch this and then
because this is all of our mentality, and then Taj can chime in on the product, and then we'll close this thing on out. Again, you don't have to love Elon. It is what it is. But he talked about, never giving up.
What's your source of strength?
A source of strength. I just really not how I think about things. I mean, for me, it's simply this is something that is important to get done. And we should just keep doing it, or die trying. And I don't need a source of strength.
So quitting is not even like,
it's not in my nature.
Okay.
And I don't care about optimism or pessimism. Fuck that, we're gonna get it done.
Fuck that, we're gonna get it done.
Yeah.
That's why I eat all 12 donuts. Not just
Right.
one. I'm committed.
I
Don't
agree.
Quit. Shipley's have the best donuts, but Shipley's hot.
Yeah, keep that same energy for when you come in the gym. Keep those 12 dozen donuts.
It was a joke. I'm like, I don't really do those. And
But
I do like 3.
I love that because, I feel like we all consider him say, Mom, life doesn't matter. Prison doesn't matter. Losing everything doesn't matter. Fucking not knowing it doesn't matter. Bringing our whole family doesn't matter. When you have the will to fucking succeed and that's all that matters, you're going to figure it out. So if you're on your fucking ass right now, woe is me. Each and every one of us have problems, and there's more people that have bigger problems. It's all about perspective, but this is America. It is the American dream, and you can get your fucking ass up and go get it and quit relying on these fucking food stamps. Quit relying on others to take you where you need to get to the promised land. You want something, you go after and go get it. And it's always better when you can stand on your 10 toes and be like, I don't know you, I don't know you, I don't know you. I thank you all, but I fucking did this with the team of people that I assembled. So.
Super proud of you guys too. Thanks for having us. Shout out to you, to the brothers and y'all's family.
For sure.
What a blessing we're watching. And John, I love you. My best friend. Thank you for supporting.
Let me ask a
go
couple
ahead.
questions
We're
on
still
the,
good.
on the water. So like not knowing how to get into this world, like how do you know where to go source the water? How did you experience all that? How many different waters did you guys try?
Private labeling, man. So private labeling, right? When I was in the, the barber industry, you learn private labeling because, you create your own products, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, just started private labeling natural water source. So you could find tons of natural spring waters, but what was challenging for us, there's a few things here. Finding a company that would provide this kind of bottle and that could do a front and back label. Majority companies, they provided the very cheap, like Ozarka type bottle, right? And it would just wrap around labels. So this was custom. So I was just calling, emailing, told John, hey, I found this guy, boom. John was like, let's go. We flew on a plane because he had pretty much everything we wanted, fell through. Then I had water shipped in. We had water shipped in from California, Ohio, Canada. We were just trying and tasting and doing all. Water does have a taste, right? Aftertaste. So
100%.
it was a challenge, man. We were learning the water game. We were learning pH, TDS, and then finally we met these guys, our partners, Texas Waterhouse in Carrollton, Texas, that's by Dallas. And we walked in, like literally, man, we walked in and the owner, he said he was on his way out of retirement. This is a true story, man. And he saw our brand and he loved it so much, they ended up becoming investors in Benjamin Blue. They were the largest distribution partner for Mountain Valley Spring. And he loved that water so much, and then Mountain Valley, who's owned by Primo, right, bought their distribution out. And they just started doing, anywhere from, they started doing, I think they were doing purified water also, or reverse osmosis. And then they were doing water from Arkansas. So we're like, let's see what this water's about. So we trucked the water from Arkansas. And the reason why Arkansas, because Arkansas has some of the best, but this is a fact, even better than Texas. Arkansas has some of the best springs in the United States, tasting and minerals, right? Here in Texas, like if you notice, like some of these big brands like Ozarka, they mix their water. If you look, it's 3 different springs. This is a single source. Yeah. And mom and pop spring they owned. So we had it shipped in. John and I, we ran it, bro. We went over there, had the water, and we're giving it to family and friends. You want to drink it room temperature, cold. It was a process, but you learn the water game,
Yeah, to expand on that, further your question, it's not hard. Just like it's not hard to do what you're doing, right? It's the consistency, the persistence, right, to get with somebody who vibes with you, right, sees the vision. That's the biggest thing, right? There's 1,000 co-packers that can do, right, pre-workouts and supplements and everything else, but will they do the mix you want?
Yes.
Right? Will they do it the way you want?
They're willing to work.
Right?
With you. Yes.
That's the thing. And then you're constantly selling yourself and your brand to every co-packer, every distributor you're walking into because they've seen 100 suckers like you walk in here.
Yeah.
The supplement game's just like the water game, man.
Yeah, very
like,
similar.
cool, you'll be here today, you won't be here tomorrow. Why would I invest my time in you? Then they meet you and they're like, fuck, these guys are relentless. Just like they met us. Right? And it was over time you're building this stuff up. But for entrepreneurs out there, this shit isn't hard.
Yeah.
But you just don't have the willingness to go do it.
Yeah.
Because it's 500 phone calls
It's
for
steps.
one
There's
win.
There's steps, right? It's really turnkey, right? Steps to do it, right? The real work comes in when you try to get in the stores and the marketing and the logistics. This right here you can do. If you find someone, you got to make sure everything, just like you said, the properties are right, packaging is right, box, everything, your barcodes, everything, right? They're just steps. Once you get it,
I think you've found that, haven't you? Or kind of getting there
What's that?
with all the supplements and the distributors and packages. I know you've had some hiccups. But
Yeah, I'm learning who to trust, who not to trust, and then I think going back to kind of what you said is how you're not going to please everybody. I remember when we made the supplements, we were so concerned about making it. Do we make it as healthy as we can? Do we make it this? Do we make it taste good? And we just came down to, hey man, everything we've tried. Does it taste great, and is the branding sick? And that's kind of what we hung our hat on. I guess you talk about different styles of bottles and stuff. Where do you see, or where do you guys have the different tiers of bottles? Like I saw the aluminum can teaser, and like, where do you plan on seeing this in stores and stuff like that? Is there going to be certain store types that have a certain bottle, or like you go to a Mastro's and you'll have the glass, like an Aquapana or something like that?
so I think what we're doing, we talked about, right? We're testing the market.
Yeah.
Is that fair, right? We're testing the market right now. So the 2 SKUs we have are right now is the OG, right? 710 ml, and Little Benny, our aluminum SKU. And then again, we have different iterations of what could possibly be, because I think it's fun. One thing that we've learned from our co-packer, John McDowell Labels, phenomenal, award-winning, he's an amazing guy. He said something, right, because he does labels for Ghost Energy. He said that what Ghost Energy does, was I supposed to say that?
it became personal to me.
Sorry.
We're going to make them a ghost.
Phantasmas.
No, go
So
ahead.
sorry, fuck.
No, you're good. That's actually inspiration.
Slap me, John.
No, it's
No, we need to hear that.
before you jump in to help you out, that's actually inspiration from us. A local
I'm fucking
guy
up over here, bro.
local guy here in Houston. I'll go and give him. His name is Max Tuning. He sold his sour strips
Yeah.
for what, 200 million or 100 million or something like that.
A lot.
And it's just like he was with Ghost as well, and it's like it's actually a good thing. It's numbers that we can see that are attainable.
Anything's possible, right?
But our shit is better.
See, I like
Anyways, go
that.
ahead.
So what he said was this. He said we challenged them. He goes, that's why they change their labels periodically here and there to keep it interesting, right? Right? Because people will buy something within, what do you say, within a sixth of a second,
Yeah.
right? Because mankind, we lust with the eyes, right? Ooh, those shoes look good. That food looks good. Look at the car. People will buy something just because the packaging and the way it looks. And you're like, oh, I like it or not, right? So we wanted to make sure that when we went with this, that we wanted to make it feel like money. And that's why John McDowell, he added a texture change to the label so it could feel like actual money, right? So again, we have these different iterations of the product so we can test the market. You try it, you don't like it, go to the next one. You could do different drops. You make it fun, right? So that's kind of like the idea.
The hard part is that we're in the era of these big words, right? These big phrases, gluten-free, microplastics, all this other bullshit.
We're microplastic free, by the way.
Right. So it's hard when you come to market with something, right? Especially water, because everyone right now is in the glass water game.
Yeah.
Right. So that was another hurdle for us. So it was constantly trying to invent or reinvent, right, a category that's already been done. Right. But what people don't realize is that 86% of products that you touch in the market have plastic in it, right? So when you get into finite detail, when we opened up Instagram and the first 10 comments were all like, well, is it glass?
Bro,
And we
so
were
many.
discouraged. We got discouraged. But then we did some simple deductive math. Everything you touch is plastic.
Yeah.
Right? At the end of the day, glass has plastic in it. There's more glass in Mountain Valley Spring Water, or there's more plastic in that bottle than there is in our bottle.
Yeah.
So the education is part of the thing that we're working on with consumers too, right? But that has been an obstacle that's been fun to overcome because now people are starting to realize some of that shit's bullshit, right? Right? Some of it's bullshit. So we have plastic, we have aluminum, right? And we're working on glass. So we're testing the market to see what the most relevant thing currently.
Yeah.
And it really isn't one thing.
Yeah.
Right? Each market segment has a different category that they like the most. C stores, like your 7-Elevens, et cetera, they don't want glass.
Yeah.
They don't even care about aluminum. They want
Oh,
that.
plastic all day
Right?
long.
That's their consumer. You go to a grocery store, you need glass, you need aluminum. You go to a restaurant, you need glass, you need aluminum.
And
so we're starting to realize
what world
that.
do you want to live in?
Correct.
Yeah. And
Correct.
that's kind of what we thought with the pre-workout and the flavoring is like the percentage of like people that is it so and so and so and so is like 2% versus the 90 some that does this shit taste good? Does it make me work out great? Yes. Yeah.
And, to add to that, you said Mountain Valley Spring. So Gary Owen, we got to get you some Benjamin Blue because you're always carrying around that Mountain Valley Spring. It's time for some Benjamin Blue, and this is where networks and connections work as well. Man, if there's an opportunity, if you guys need to get this product in with any of the Fertitta establishments or anything, we'd love to make that connection for you guys, or if you already have it, or how
We need all the help we can get.
So
Yeah.
I think
all the help.
it's something
Grateful.
that this is where we align ourselves with. And to add to what he was saying is like there was one day we were doing, and this is the hustler mentality. Every Sunday, our boy Nando, he'll go to these run clubs or he'll promote Congo Sups. And I remember I went that one day and the lady goes, "Oh, it's got sucralose in it. I don't want it." I'm sitting there looking at her. Like, damn, this woman is worried about sucralose and one little shot she's taking. And with all due respect, she was not fit. She had no healthy habits. She was actually drinking a fucking Gatorade, pure sugar that's got vegetable, all that stuff in it. And you're worried about some sucralose? So to add to that is like this supplement market and the water market. Everyone's, it's got to be clean. It's got to be this. It's got to be that. Well, I don't want my shit to taste horrible and for you to not buy it. So I'm going to add just to some bad stuff in it. And getting into the bad stuff, humans and people, you guys take way more shit in your daily lives than a simple product that's actually going to help you or a simple water. So I don't know where this whole thing came about. Maybe because it was Instagram and TikTok about, oh, I can't have this unless it's in a glass. Oh, I can't have this unless it's in a
As they're
sucralose.
smoking a cigarette.
Yeah.
And just
But
did a, just
they
did a-
don't got these.
hey, just did a bump in the restroom smoking a cigarette. I can't.
But yeah, and that's why I was like, when we were making those decisions, we felt the same way. And I said, because dude, he tried everything. He tried allulose, we tried monk fruit, we tried all these alternatives. And it's like, man, I don't think we can get away with it.
Yeah, we go back to like the shit we grew up on and the shit we take today. It all had it, and we were just like, let's make it that, but clean it up as much as we can.
Great.
So that's what we did.
And that's why our powder, it's clear, it's not colored.
Yeah, and that's where like Ghost puts food coloring, like red 40s in their Swedish fish pre-workouts. So like that's little things that we stand apart that no one's really gonna notice. But
Y'all should do a line called the Red 40s. Probably sell it. Motherfuckers will buy it. Damn, this is great.
Do you want to give it any sneak peeks of potential products coming out for Congo Sups, or keep
is
that off
dope.
air?
no, I don't.
Anything? Okay, anything?
I will talk about Santa Sangria. Okay. And
Yeah, I
this is something that we spit, and we're spinning this as, hey, we're small business. We fucked up, guys. So this was all my idea. I wanted to, I look at the big dogs, and at the time, there's this guy named Seabum. He's like Mr. Olympia, blah, blah, blah. So he has a supplement company, and I saw his most successful flavors were the seasonal things. And I bought this waffle protein he had, and it only came out in fall or whatever. And mine was gone. And I was like, man, I want some of that. And I researched kind of how he does it. And every flavor he's got is seasonal or limited time. And he times it perfect. I'm like, man, we need a seasonal flavor that we can get in and get out, and people build that demand. So this was in July, maybe?
Might have been June.
And this was something I learned from the gym. I was like, man, I'm not going to push the time crunch. So we wanted to do something for Halloween because we're Halloween guys. I was like, man, we got to do like a witch's brew, sour apple, something, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, it's too tight of a window. Let's go Christmas. So I was like, let's come up with a Christmas pre-workout. And then I got with, and this is a new manufacturer I wanted to try because their minimums were less. 140 was the minimum. Our current one is 500 minimum. I was like, we can't have 500 units and get rid of it in 2 months. So we flavor tested. We got rid of the Ace K in this newest one because that's one of the things people don't like, and we have, and we're truthful about it. But so we got it. She gave us 3 different Christmas editions. We had like a cranberry Sprite, we had a cherry something, and then this was the Santa Sangria, and we fucking all loved it. We were amazed by it. And it's such an interesting flavor. So we green lighted it. This was June, July, August. I placed the order in September, and this lady tells me 8 to 10 weeks. Okay.
Damn.
Been there.
Christmas was 2 days ago, 3 days ago. So anyway, she slow plays me over and over. And I'd still been worried the whole time because I didn't trust it. I check in, I get the label
You
designed.
said Christmas was 2 days ago.
Yeah. So another route we went, I said, what is something we can do to ensure that this thing is done? She goes, so you can hand do the labels. If you have a label maker deliver to your house, we can get the product in the run quicker. She goes, we could probably run it in a week if you do your own labels. I go with my label company. I did the first order with. They print me off all the labels. They send it to my house. They're sitting in my house right now. I think we're going to get it. I said, I brought the whole team. We're going to hand label these. So this one's hand labeled for just the marketing. I said, everybody, when this stuff comes in, we got to hand label it. And then I check in. She's like, oh, it's looking like December 1st. I go, boy, that's tight. You know, I want my clients to be drinking this by Black Friday and, you know, Christmas. Be training for Christmas. We did the whole marketing campaign with AI.
Big shout out to Bod Shop, man.
Yeah.
Bro, the best in the game.
Shout out,
Love
shout
you,
out.
man.
So we basically take a leap of faith, and on Black Friday we say pre-orders now available. I said, let's just see what people think. Let's hope it comes December 1. So December comes around, and she's like, Taj, I'm sorry, but it looks like you're going to be in about December 18th now. I went off on her. Okay. December 18th comes. I go, I hope it was ran today. No reply. I'm like, great. And I get a reply in the next morning. She says it was run and it should be done by the end of the week, but we need 1 to 2 weeks to ship it. And it's in Georgia. And I'm like, 1 to 2 weeks, I can bring a truck or I can go drive down there. And then she's like, hold on, let me get back to you. So then I try to get more information the next day, which is like the 20th. And she's like, it actually wasn't run yet. So it still hasn't been ran. And then I reached out to my label maker who helped me with these people. He's like, this is unheard of. I can't believe it. I'm so pissed. I'm going to reach out to the owner of the manufacturing company. And he's like, well, you know, they're a small company. They got butted because someone had a huge order and they went to the bottom of the list in the run. So that's what happened to us on this Santa Sangria. We got big dogged. So our hope is it is run tomorrow, which I doubt will happen. But when this comes, it'll be here. We're going to have to hand label them again. And then we're going to sell it. But we're selling it as like, hey, we fucked up. We're a small business. We tried to do something we didn't major in. We tried being in the minors and we fucked up. And here's this. And it's Santa Sangria. And we love Christmas so much this time of year. We're going to keep going in January, February. And we're going to be Christmas guys till we die.
I love it. Let's go.
What was my response when you texted me the other day that you didn't have it when I ordered a bunch?
And that's what I told him. He's one of the guys that pre-ordered it. And I was like, sorry, bro, we don't have it. He ordered a great pre-workout with it. He's like, I don't fucking care. Just give me the grape.
That's right.
Love it.
Because no one gives a fuck. They're supporting.
Yeah.
Right? So I'll be drinking that shit in January. All good.
And that's the thing. I
Great name, too.
emailed everybody who pre-ordered, and everybody's been great. It's okay. It's okay.
It's okay,
Thank you.
man.
Thank you.
It's okay. It's okay. That's
So
right.
we even talked about as a team, do we change the name and get a new label?
I
do we
love
do
that
this?
name. Hell no.
We're
keep
like,
it
no, man,
that.
we're fucking rocking with Santa.
You should do seasonal drops at a different time. Do Christmas for Halloween. Just switch it up.
We thought about that.
Who
Yeah.
cares?
At that rate, we won't be able to afford Bachata without he's going.
So the goal with this is we really love it. And now we get the order in time for the next Christmas and we're selling. But, you know, we look for us as a company, we plan on doing more of these seasonal drops. We're going to do a better job. So, like, we're about to hit January. I'm going to put in whatever order in summer now or start the Halloween edition now because I don't want any of that issue anymore. We are working on, it's done, 2 new products that should be done. They've been paid for, everything, and they're tasting great. They're exactly what I want formula-wise. They should be here in March, but I'm not going to give you a date. Just know it's going to add to your repertoire.
I was doing a great job, guys.
Yeah.
Killer job.
Thank you guys. And bro, thank you. Also, getting back to Joe Rogan, I think Joe Rogan needs some water. So we're going to keep putting this manifestation out there. John, go and let him know why Joe Rogan needs some Benjamin Blue.
Bro, let's get this gone, right? 1 pallet to his house in Austin.
Said it. I want to do
Front
the
door.
smelling salts. I want to do smell like
Yes.
Joey Coco Diaz when they did smelling salts. Well, I want to react that shit. Remember they had the Blade music in the background. They're smelling.
You want some smelling salts? How about some freaking fog, man?
All right, how are we going to get this to Rogan?
How are we going to get it to Rogan?
Rogan?
What?
We're gonna send him a pallet.
Yes, send him a pallet. Done. Just like the plunge guys did. He made those guys famous.
Let's
He dropped
send him
the
a
plunge at
pallet.
his front door. Same thing.
Say less. You're going to do that,
Let's
and then
go.
you're going to come to Houston. You're going to get a workout at the Congo Way, and then we're going to get you some Congo steps. We're going to team up. We're going to evolve, and we're going to close this out with our little shot. So I got your shot made. I got your Amino made, Warrior, pink lemonade. This one's yours. Make sure
Shit,
don't
we're
give that
doing
to
another
JT.
one?
Hell yeah, we do close this thing out.
First one, I was feeling it.
Oh yeah, you got to. And then, you know, we got a couple words out there for all the people that follow, like, subscribe, and share after we take this toast.
So fun.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys.
Benjamin
Grateful,
Blue, New
grateful.
Year. Also, when you
Salute.
hear this episode, it'll be in
Here's
the
to
new
you,
year.
brother. Sorry for fucking it up.
To you, Santa.
To you,
Santa.
Sangria. And if you're not down with that, we got 2 words for you. Suck it! Like, subscribe, share.
6'7", 6'7". Get the fuck out of here.